I welcome you to the Love Lies channel. I stood in the dimly lit corner of the cafe, nursing my coffee and glancing up at the clock. It was late, and the place was nearly empty. My wife Lisa was across the room, her laughter carrying over the low hum of conversation. She was talking to a tourist, one of those travelers who wandered into our small town in search of something different. Lisa worked as a tour guide. For years, she had been the charming face of our city's historical tours, regaling visitors with stories and facts. I had always admired her passion for her job, but tonight, something felt different. The way she smiled at the tourist, the way her eyes sparkled. It wasn't the usual friendly, professional demeanor I was accustomed to. This felt personal. The tourist, David, was from New York. Tall and confident, he had an easy charm that seemed to complement Lisa's vibrant personality. They had met during one of her regular tours, and I had heard her speak about him with a degree of enthusiasm that was unusual. When they first started talking, I brushed it off as simple friendliness, but the longer I observed, the more I felt a gnawing sense of unease. Over the next few weeks, Lisa's behavior changed subtly but noticeably. She started coming home later than usual, her mood uplifted, and her phone became a constant companion. She'd spend hours texting or on calls, her face flushed with excitement, something I hadn't seen in years. It was as if there was a secret part of her life that I wasn't privy to. One evening, curiosity got the better of me. I glanced at her phone while she was in the shower. The screen lit up with messages from David. Their conversations were filled with flirtatious banter and personal revelations that seemed far too intimate for mere acquaintances. My heart sank as I read through the messages. It was clear that their relationship had moved beyond the bounds of professionalism. When Lisa came out, I confronted her. The words felt heavy in the air between us. At first, she denied everything. But as the evidence mounted, her defenses crumbled. She admitted that their connection had become more than just friendly. There was an affair, and it had been going on for weeks. The revelation was a punch to the gut. I had always thought our marriage was solid, but here it was, crumbling before me. Lisa tried to explain her feelings, her reasons, but the more she spoke, the more my sense of betrayal deepened. It wasn't just the affair. It was the violation of the trust that had been the foundation of our relationship. I found myself drowning in a sea of emotions. Anger, sadness, confusion. They all crashed over me in waves. I sought solace in friends and family, their support a flimsy lifeline in the storm I was facing. Everyone had advice, but none of it seemed to fit the raw reality of what I was going through. In the weeks that followed, I took time to gather my thoughts. I needed to make a decision about the future of our marriage. After numerous discussions and endless nights of reflection, I concluded that moving on was the only way forward. The affair had altered the very fabric of our relationship, and despite my lingering feelings, I knew that continuing in a relationship built on such a betrayal was untenable. The decision to end our marriage was painful. It felt like tearing apart a part of myself. Lisa and I went through the process with as much dignity as we could muster, but the hurt and anger lingered. Now, as I look ahead, I try to piece together a new path for myself. The scars of this betrayal will not disappear overnight, but I am determined to rebuild my life. The road ahead is uncertain, but I am hopeful that time will bring healing, and perhaps in the future, a new beginning. The weeks that followed were a blur of emotional chaos and painful decisions. Each day felt like a relentless cycle of waking up to the harsh reality of our fractured marriage and grappling with the weight of betrayal. I moved through life on autopilot, going to work, coming home, and trying to find some semblance of normalcy in a world that had been turned upside down. Lisa and I tried to navigate the aftermath of her confession with as much grace as we could muster. We attended counseling sessions, hoping that talking through our issues might offer some clarity or at least help us find a way to part on less acrimonious terms. But every session seemed to bring more pain than resolution. The counselor's questions and insights only served to highlight the chasm that had formed between us. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, Lisa and I sat in silence at the dinner table. The usual small talk that filled our meals had vanished, replaced by an oppressive quiet. I could see the frustration and sorrow etched on Lisa's face, but I also saw a flicker of defiance in her eyes. She was struggling to understand the full impact of her actions, and I could feel the distance growing wider. As the days turned into weeks, I began to notice that Lisa was making more frequent trips out of town. She claimed it was for work, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she was seeing David again. The thought of it was a constant thorn in my side. Each mention of her travel plans a reminder of the trust that had been so deeply shattered. My own attempts at moving on were met with mixed results. I started seeing a therapist, hoping to untangle the complex web of emotions I was dealing with. The sessions were cathartic, but also highlighted just how deeply I had been affected. My therapist encouraged me to focus on self-care and rebuilding my sense of self, which had been eroded by the betrayal. One day, while going through some old family photos, I stumbled upon a picture of Lisa and me from our early years of marriage. We were smiling, full of dreams and hope. The image was a stark contrast to the reality I was living now, and it hit me hard. I missed the person we used to be, the connection we once had, but I also realized that holding on to that image was preventing me from moving forward. The final blow came when Lisa asked for a separation. She said she needed space to figure out what she wanted and to give both of us a chance to heal. The request was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it was a clear acknowledgement of the fractures in our relationship. On the other, it was another painful step towards finalizing the end of our marriage. I agreed to the separation, albeit reluctantly. We set up separate living arrangements and divided our belongings, trying to do so with minimal conflict. It was a strange and surreal process, each action reinforcing the finality of our decision. With Lisa gone, I found myself alone in our once shared home. The silence was deafening. I tried to fill the emptiness with routine, work, exercise, and reconnecting with friends, but the void left by Lisa's absence was palpable. I spent many nights lying awake, wrestling with the thoughts of what could have been and what the future might hold. As time went on, I began to accept the reality of my situation. The pain of the betrayal was still raw, but I started to see glimmers of hope in the form of personal growth. I had been forced to confront parts of myself that I had long ignored. It was a painful process, but it was also a necessary one. Now, as I look back on those weeks, I realize that the journey through betrayal and heartbreak has been transformative. I am learning to navigate my new reality, to find solace in the small victories, and to embrace the possibility of a future that is different from the one I had imagined. The months of separation blurred into a routine that felt both comforting and hollow. Living alone in the house we had shared for years was a constant reminder of what had been lost. I threw myself into work and reconnected with old friends, seeking distraction in activities that once brought me joy. Yet every evening, the quiet of the empty house was a stark contrast to the noise and laughter that had filled it not so long ago. The separation had given me space to reflect and grow, but it also presented new challenges. I found myself grappling with the practicalities of a new life, managing finances on my own, dealing with household chores, and even simple tasks like grocery shopping became symbols of the change. Each mundane activity seemed to magnify the absence of Lisa. One day I was sifting through a box of old letters and mementos, trying to make sense of everything that had happened. Among the keepsakes, I found a letter Lisa had written to me on our anniversary years ago. The words were filled with love and promises of forever. Reading it brought a rush of emotions, sadness, longing, and a pang of nostalgia for the person we used to be. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, I made an effort to focus on myself. I started attending a local gym and took up hiking on weekends. Physical activity provided a sense of achievement and helped clear my mind. I began to appreciate the small things in life again, the beauty of nature, the satisfaction of a hard workout, and the pleasure of cooking a simple meal. During this period, I also reached out to a support group for people going through similar experiences. Hearing others share their stories of loss and recovery was both comforting and enlightening. It reminded me that I wasn't alone in my struggles and that healing was possible. Lisa, meanwhile, seemed to be navigating her own path. We had occasional conversations about practical matters and updates on our respective lives. Her voice, though tinged with a sense of regret, also carried a note of determination. She was working on rebuilding her own life, trying to find clarity and direction after the upheaval. One evening, while reviewing some documents, I received a message from Lisa asking to meet. She wanted to discuss our situation and see if there was any possibility of reconciliation. My initial reaction was a mix of hope and trepidation. I had come to terms with the idea of moving forward on my own, but a part of me was still tethered to the past, hoping for a resolution. We agreed to meet at a quiet cafe, a neutral ground that seemed fitting for such a delicate conversation. Lisa arrived with a tentative smile, and we exchanged pleasantries before diving into the heart of the matter. She spoke openly about her feelings and the regrets she had about the affair. Her candor was both painful and refreshing. She admitted that she had been deeply unhappy for a long time, but she also recognized that her actions had been hurtful and unjustifiable. The conversation was emotional and difficult, but it also marked a turning point. Lisa and I both acknowledged the need for forgiveness, whether it was for ourselves or each other. We agreed that, regardless of what the future held, we needed to move forward with mutual respect and understanding. As we parted ways that day, I felt a sense of closure that had been missing for months. While the possibility of reconciliation remained uncertain, I was grateful for the opportunity to express our feelings and gain some clarity. The path ahead was still unclear, but I was beginning to accept that healing and growth were ongoing processes. In the weeks that followed, I continued to focus on my personal development and building a new life. The road to recovery was still long, but each step forward, no matter how small, was a testament to my resilience. I knew that eventually I would find my way to a place of peace and acceptance, whatever that might look like. The days after my meeting with Lisa were filled with a cautious optimism. I had spent months wrestling with the emotional fallout of our separation, and finally, the conversation with her had offered a semblance of closure. But as I tried to navigate this new chapter in my life, I was acutely aware that the process of moving on was far from straightforward. I began to notice that I was more attuned to my own needs and desires. I started setting personal goals and pursuing hobbies that I had long neglected. The gym became a sanctuary, a place where I could push my limits and feel a sense of accomplishment. I also rediscovered my love for cooking, experimenting with new recipes and flavors. These activities provided a welcome distraction and helped me rebuild my self-esteem. One weekend, I decided to take a short trip to a nearby town I had always wanted to explore. The change of scenery was refreshing. As I wandered through the quaint streets and visited local landmarks, I felt a renewed sense of possibility. The world seemed vast and full of opportunities, and I began to envision a future that was no longer defined by my past relationship. During my travels, I met a woman named Emily. She was a fellow traveler who was friendly and engaging. We struck up a conversation over coffee, and her warmth and openness were a welcome breath of fresh air. We shared stories about our lives, our dreams, and our experiences. Emily's presence was a reminder that there was more to life than the pain I had been dwelling on. Her optimism was infectious, and I found myself looking forward to our conversations. Returning home, I reflected on my interactions with Emily. Although I was not ready to jump into a new relationship, I appreciated the connection and the reminder that there were still meaningful experiences to be had. It was a small but significant step towards opening myself up to new possibilities. Lisa and I continued to communicate occasionally, mostly about logistical matters. Our conversations were cordial but distant. There was a mutual understanding that our paths had diverged, but we also respected the history we shared. It became clear that both of us were trying to move forward, albeit in different directions. As summer turned to fall, I decided to focus on the practical aspects of my life. I started making plans for the future, considering new career opportunities and potential changes in my living situation. I realized that I had been so consumed by the past that I had neglected to think about what I wanted for myself in the long term. One evening, while reviewing some job postings, I received a phone call from a former colleague who was starting a new business venture. She offered me a role that aligned perfectly with my skills and interests. The opportunity was exciting and seemed like a chance to reinvent myself professionally. I accepted the offer with a sense of anticipation and hope. The new job brought with it a fresh set of challenges and a renewed sense of purpose. I immersed myself in the work, finding fulfillment in contributing to something new and dynamic. It was a welcome distraction from the emotional turbulence of the past months and provided a much-needed boost to my confidence. The transition was not without its difficulties, but I embraced the change with an open mind. I found that focusing on my personal and professional growth allowed me to put the past behind me and look forward to the future with a sense of optimism. As the year drew to a close, I reflected on how far I had come. The journey had been arduous, but it had also been transformative. I had learned to navigate my emotions, embrace new opportunities, and build a future that was no longer defined by the shadow of my past relationship. While the scars of betrayal would always be a part of me, I had begun to find my way towards a new and hopeful beginning. As the new year began, I found myself settling into a routine that was beginning to feel both comfortable and promising. The new job was proving to be everything I had hoped for and more. My days were filled with engaging projects and meaningful interactions with my new colleagues. It was a stark contrast to the emotional turmoil of the previous year, and I was grateful for the change. Despite the progress I was making, I couldn't completely shake off the past. The memories of Lisa and the life we once had still lingered, especially during moments of quiet reflection. However, I was learning to balance these thoughts with the new experiences and opportunities that life was offering. One afternoon, while working at my desk, I received an email from Lisa. It was a brief message, but it carried a sense of finality. She wanted to inform me that she had decided to relocate to a different city for a new job opportunity. The news was unexpected, and it struck me with a mix of emotions. Part of me felt a twinge of sadness at the thought of her leaving, but another part of me felt relief. It was a clear indication that we were both moving forward in our separate ways. I responded with a polite but detached message, wishing her well and acknowledging her decision. It was a bittersweet moment, a sign of the closing chapter in our shared story. I realized that our separation had been a necessary step for both of us to find our own paths and to heal from the past. Around the same time, Emily and I had kept in touch. Our conversations had evolved from casual chats to deeper discussions about our lives and aspirations. She was a source of support and encouragement, and I appreciated her presence in my life. While I was not yet ready to pursue a new relationship, Emily's friendship was a reminder that there were still meaningful connections to be made. One weekend, Emily suggested we take a trip to a nearby coastal town. The idea of escaping the daily grind and enjoying some time by the sea was appealing. We spent a couple of days exploring the picturesque town, strolling along the beach and enjoying local seafood. The trip was refreshing and provided a much-needed break from the routine. During our time together, Emily and I had conversations that made me reflect on my own growth and the journey I had been on. Her perspective and insights helped me see things from a new angle. It was clear that she was a positive influence in my life, and I began to value our friendship even more. As spring approached, I continued to embrace the changes in my life with an open mind. The new job was progressing well, and I was starting to consider additional personal goals. I began to think about long-term plans and what I wanted to achieve in the coming years. The clarity and purpose I was finding in my work were starting to translate into other areas of my life. One evening, while sitting on my porch and reflecting on the journey I had been through, I felt a sense of peace. The pain of the past was still there, but it no longer consumed me. I had come to terms with the fact that my life had taken an unexpected turn, and I was learning to embrace the new opportunities that were arising. Lisa's departure was a final reminder that our paths had diverged, but it also signified a new beginning for both of us. I was grateful for the lessons learned and the personal growth I had experienced. As I looked forward to the future, I was hopeful and optimistic about what lay ahead. The year was unfolding with new possibilities, and I was ready to embrace them. I knew that healing was a continuous process, but I was determined to move forward with confidence and an open heart. Life had a way of surprising us, and I was prepared to welcome whatever came next with a sense of curiosity and resilience. As the year continued to unfold, the new rhythm of my life settled into place. The job was thriving, and my personal routine had found a steady pace. I was increasingly finding joy in the simple things: mornings at the gym, weekend hikes, and leisurely evenings spent cooking. These activities were becoming more than just distractions. They were integral parts of my healing process. One day, while I was browsing through a local bookstore, I ran into an old friend, Mark, whom I hadn't seen in years. We exchanged pleasantries and decided to grab coffee together. As we caught up, I shared some of my recent experiences and the challenges I had faced over the past year. Mark listened intently and offered his support, sharing his own stories of overcoming adversity. Our conversation turned to a project he was working on, a community initiative aimed at helping individuals going through personal crises. Mark was passionate about the project, and his enthusiasm was contagious. He invited me to get involved, suggesting that my experience and perspective could be valuable to others facing similar challenges. At first, I was hesitant. I had spent so much time focusing on my own recovery that the idea of helping others felt daunting. However, after reflecting on it, I realized that participating in this project could be a meaningful way to channel my experiences and contribute positively to the community. I agreed to join Mark's initiative and began attending meetings and working with others involved in the project. Engaging in this new endeavor provided a fresh sense of purpose. I found that sharing my story and supporting others in their journey of recovery was both rewarding and therapeutic. It helped me see my own struggles in a new light, and I began to appreciate how far I'd come. One evening, while working on a presentation for the initiative, I received a phone call from Emily. She wanted to update me on her recent travels and discuss her own experiences. Our conversations had become a regular part of my life, and I looked forward to hearing from her. Emily shared exciting news about her own personal growth and the new opportunities she was exploring. As we spoke, I realized how much our friendship had evolved. Emily had become an important part of my support system, and our conversations had deepened into discussions about our dreams and future aspirations. While I was still not ready to pursue a romantic relationship, I valued the connection we had built. In the midst of this positive change, Lisa reached out again. She sent me a message to inform me that she had settled into her new city and was adjusting to her new job. Her message was cordial and polite, and she expressed a genuine hope that I was doing well. I responded with a brief update on my own life and expressed my best wishes for her. Receiving Lisa's message stirred up a mixture of emotions. It was a reminder of the past, but it also signaled a new phase of our lives where we were no longer intertwined. I felt a sense of closure, knowing that both of us were moving forward in our own ways. As the months passed, I continued to grow through my involvement in the community initiative and my ongoing personal pursuits. I found that the journey of healing was not linear, but rather a series of gradual steps towards self-discovery and fulfillment. Each day brought new opportunities to learn and grow, and I embraced them with an open heart. Looking back on the past year, I was amazed at how far I had come. The pain of the past was still a part of me, but it no longer defined my present. I had built a new life for myself, one that was filled with purpose and connection. The experience had taught me resilience and the importance of embracing change. As I faced the future, I felt a renewed sense of hope. The journey was far from over, but I was ready to embrace whatever came next with confidence and optimism. Life had its share of challenges, but it also offered endless possibilities. And with each step forward, I was learning to appreciate the beauty of the journey itself. The spring brought with it a renewed sense of vitality. The community initiative I had joined was flourishing, and I was deeply engaged in the work. It felt fulfilling to contribute to something larger than myself, to use my experiences to help others navigate their own challenges. The project was growing, and I found myself taking on more responsibilities, including organizing workshops and speaking at local events. The sense of purpose I felt was invigorating. It wasn't just about moving on from the past anymore. It was about making a tangible difference in the lives of others. The positive feedback from participants and the camaraderie among the team members further fueled my commitment to the project. I started to envision a future where I could continue to blend my personal growth with meaningful work. One evening, as I was preparing for a workshop, I received a call from Mark. He had some exciting news. Our initiative had been selected for a grant that would significantly boost our resources and outreach. It was a major milestone for us, and the news was both thrilling and overwhelming. We celebrated the achievement, and I felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that our hard work was being recognized and supported. In the midst of this professional success, I continued to nurture my personal relationships. Emily and I had maintained our close friendship, and her support remained a constant in my life. Our conversations became a source of comfort and inspiration. She had started a new project of her own, and we often exchanged ideas and encouragement. One day, Emily invited me to attend a networking event in the city. The event was a gathering of like-minded individuals and professionals from various fields. I was hesitant at first, feeling somewhat out of place among such a diverse group, but I decided to go. The experience turned out to be both enlightening and enjoyable. I met several people who shared similar interests and passions, and the connections I made opened up new opportunities for collaboration. During the event, I struck up a conversation with a woman named Laura, who was involved in a nonprofit organization focused on mental health awareness. Our discussion was engaging, and Laura's dedication to her cause was inspiring. She invited me to collaborate on a new project that aimed to create a support network for individuals dealing with mental health challenges. The opportunity to work on something so impactful was exciting, and I agreed to join the initiative. The new project with Laura and her team provided a fresh perspective and allowed me to expand my horizons. It was a chance to combine my experience with the community initiative and my personal insights into a broader effort to raise awareness and support. The collaboration was both challenging and rewarding, and it reinforced my belief in the power of collective action and community support. As the summer approached, I took some time to reflect on the progress I had made over the past year. The personal growth and professional achievements were significant, but what stood out the most was the transformation in my outlook on life. I had learned to embrace change and to find joy and fulfillment in new experiences. Lisa reached out once more, this time with an invitation to a mutual friend's wedding. Her message was cordial, and she expressed a genuine hope that I would be able to attend. The invitation was unexpected, and I found myself torn between the desire to reconnect and the need to preserve the progress I had made in moving forward. After some contemplation, I decided to attend the wedding. It was an opportunity to see old friends and to close another chapter of my life with grace. The event was beautiful and bittersweet. Seeing Lisa and catching up with old acquaintances provided a sense of closure and reaffirmed my commitment to embracing the future. As I drove home from the wedding, I felt a profound sense of peace. The past year had been a journey of self-discovery and growth, and I was ready to face whatever came next with confidence. The experiences and connections I had made had enriched my life, and I was optimistic about the future. Looking ahead, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. The path I had taken was not always easy, but it had led me to a place of strength and resilience. With each new opportunity, I was learning to appreciate the beauty of the journey and the potential it held. The summer was winding down, and the transition from the busy season of community projects to a quieter time provided a moment for reflection. My involvement in the mental health support initiative with Laura and her team had been incredibly rewarding. We had made significant strides in raising awareness and building a support network. The feedback we received from those we helped was profoundly moving and reinforced my commitment to this line of work. Despite the positive developments in my professional life, the emotional undercurrent of my personal life continued to ebb and flow. I found solace in my routine and the friendships I had cultivated. The bonds I had formed with people like Emily and Mark were invaluable, offering support and perspective as I navigated the complexities of moving forward from my past. One weekend, as I was enjoying a peaceful hike in the mountains, I received a text from Emily. She had invited me to a small gathering she was hosting at her apartment. The idea of spending a relaxed evening with friends sounded appealing, and I was eager to catch up with Emily and the others. The evening of the gathering arrived, and Emily's apartment was filled with warmth and lively conversation. Among the guests was a man named Jason, who was involved in a startup company focused on sustainable living. We struck up a conversation about our mutual interests in community development and environmental issues. Jason's passion and enthusiasm were infectious, and we quickly found common ground. As the evening progressed, Emily and I had a chance to talk more privately. She shared her latest project updates and expressed her gratitude for our continued friendship. It was clear that our bond had deepened over time, and I valued her presence in my life more than ever. Jason and I continued to stay in touch after the gathering. Our conversations about sustainable living and community projects evolved into discussions about potential collaborations. He proposed an idea for a new initiative that combined environmental sustainability with community support, aiming to create green spaces in urban areas while providing resources for mental health support. The concept intrigued me, and I saw it as an opportunity to merge my interests in community work with environmental advocacy. I agreed to join Jason's project, and we began working together to develop the proposal. The process was both challenging and invigorating, and it allowed me to apply my skills in new and creative ways. As fall approached, the project gained momentum, and we secured funding and support from various organizations. The collaborative effort was a testament to the power of combining diverse passions and expertise to create something meaningful. The initiative began to take shape, with plans for green spaces and mental health resources becoming more tangible. The project also allowed me to reflect on my journey and the progress I had made. I was amazed at how much I had grown and how far I had come from the person I was at the beginning of the year. The pain and betrayal had been replaced by a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and I was grateful for the experiences that had led me to this point. One evening, while working on the project, I received an email from Lisa. She had sent a thoughtful note, updating me on her own progress and expressing her appreciation for the closure we had achieved. Her message was sincere and respectful, and it reaffirmed the mutual respect we had developed as we moved forward with our separate lives. Reading Lisa's message, I felt a profound sense of peace. The past was no longer a shadow looming over my present. Instead, it was a part of my journey that had led me to where I was now, a place of growth, resilience, and hope. As the year began to draw to a close, I looked forward to the future with a sense of excitement and anticipation. The projects I was involved in were thriving, and my personal life had found a new balance. I was learning to embrace change and to find joy in the ongoing process of discovery and growth. With each passing day, I was becoming more attuned to the beauty of life's journey. The challenges of the past had shaped me, but they no longer defined me. I was ready to face whatever came next with an open heart and a renewed sense of purpose. The future was filled with possibilities, and I was eager to explore them, knowing that I had the strength and resilience to navigate whatever lay ahead. Winter settled in with its crisp air and shorter days, bringing a new rhythm to my life. The project with Jason and the Green Spaces Initiative was well underway. Our efforts to blend environmental sustainability with mental health support were beginning to make a visible impact. The community responded positively, and seeing the results of our hard work was incredibly gratifying. Amidst the busyness of the project, I made a point to carve out time for personal reflection. The end of the year was approaching, and it provided a natural pause to assess the journey I had been on. I spent quiet evenings reviewing my progress, journaling, and considering what the next steps would be. The challenges of the past year had been significant, but they had also brought about profound personal growth. One Saturday, I decided to visit a local art gallery. The exhibit featured works from various artists focused on themes of change and transformation. As I walked through the gallery, I found myself moved by the art. Each piece seemed to echo my own journey, reflecting themes of resilience, renewal, and hope. The experience was both uplifting and inspiring, reinforcing my commitment to embracing the changes in my life. During this period of reflection, Emily and I continued to support each other. Our conversations were filled with updates on our respective projects and personal insights. She had recently started a new course in sustainable development and was excited about the possibilities it presented. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and I found myself encouraged by her progress. One evening, Emily called to share some news. She had been offered a significant opportunity to lead a new initiative focused on environmental education for children. The project was a perfect match for her passion and skills. I congratulated her and expressed my admiration for her accomplishments. Emily's success was a reminder of the positive changes we were both experiencing in our lives. As the holiday season approached, the atmosphere was filled with a mixture of excitement and introspection. I attended a few social events, reconnecting with friends and celebrating the achievements of the past year. It was a time of joy, but also a time to reflect on the experiences that had shaped me. On New Year's Eve, I found myself attending a small gathering with friends from the community initiative and some new acquaintances from the art gallery. The evening was filled with lively conversation and laughter, a fitting end to a year of significant change. As the clock struck midnight, I felt a sense of accomplishment and optimism for the year ahead. In the quiet moments following the celebrations, I took time to set intentions for the new year. I reflected on the goals I wanted to pursue and the values I wanted to embrace. The experiences of the past year had taught me the importance of resilience, connection, and growth. I resolved to continue exploring new opportunities and to remain open to the lessons life had to offer. The transition into the new year brought with it a renewed sense of purpose. The projects I was involved in were thriving, and my personal life had found a new balance. I was eager to build on the progress I had made and to embrace the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. As I looked forward to the future, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey I had undertaken. The past year had been filled with moments of growth and transformation, and I was ready to face whatever came next with confidence and optimism. The path ahead was still unfolding, but I was prepared to embrace it with an open heart and a renewed sense of purpose. The new year started with a renewed sense of energy and focus. The projects I was involved in were progressing well, and my personal growth continued to unfold in unexpected ways. I was particularly excited about the upcoming collaboration with Jason's initiative on sustainable living and the Green Spaces project. The momentum we had built was palpable, and I was eager to see where it would lead. One chilly January afternoon, as I was working on project plans at a local coffee shop, I received a message from an old friend, Sarah, whom I hadn't spoken to in years. She was in town and wanted to catch up. We had drifted apart over the years, but her message was a pleasant surprise. We agreed to meet for dinner later that week. When Sarah and I met, it felt as if no time had passed at all. We reminisced about old times, shared stories about our lives, and discussed the changes we had both experienced. Sarah was in town for a short visit and had been reflecting on her own journey of personal transformation. Her insights and experiences mirrored some of my own, and our conversation was both enlightening and reassuring. Sarah had recently started her own business focused on wellness and mindfulness. Her passion for helping others and her innovative approach to personal well-being resonated with me. We talked about potential collaborations and how we could combine our efforts to create something impactful. The idea of working together on a wellness initiative was exciting, and we decided to explore it further. As the winter progressed, the collaboration with Sarah began to take shape. We organized a series of workshops and events that combined mindfulness practices with community outreach. The goal was to offer people tools for managing stress and fostering emotional well-being, complementing the environmental and mental health initiatives I was already involved in. The workshops were well received, and the feedback from participants was overwhelmingly positive. It was gratifying to see how our combined efforts were making a difference in people's lives. The intersection of wellness and community support created a holistic approach to personal and environmental health, and I felt proud to be part of it. One evening after a particularly successful workshop, I received a call from Emily. She had been invited to speak at a national conference on sustainable development and wanted to share the news with me. Her excitement was palpable, and I congratulated her on the opportunity. We talked about the impact of her work and how it aligned with the broader goals of our mutual projects. Emily's achievements were a testament to her dedication and passion. Our friendship had evolved into a supportive and collaborative relationship, and I was grateful for the positive influence she had on my life. We continued to inspire and encourage each other, and our shared vision for making a difference kept us motivated. As winter began to give way to spring, the landscape of my life continued to transform. The projects, personal relationships, and new opportunities had created a dynamic and fulfilling rhythm. I was embracing the changes with a sense of optimism and anticipation for what the future held. One weekend, while taking a break from work, I decided to visit a nearby park that was being developed as part of the Green Spaces initiative. The park was starting to take shape, with new pathways, gardens, and community areas. Seeing the tangible results of our efforts was incredibly rewarding, and it reinforced my belief in the importance of our work. The progress on the park and the success of our wellness initiatives were clear indicators of how far I had come. The challenges of the past were now distant memories, replaced by a sense of purpose and fulfillment. I had learned to navigate the complexities of change and to find joy in the journey. As I reflected on the past year, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the experiences that had shaped me. The journey had been marked by growth, resilience, and discovery. I was ready to face the future with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that the path ahead was filled with opportunities to make a positive impact and continue my personal evolution. Spring brought a renewed sense of possibility. The Green Spaces project and the wellness workshops with Sarah had gained significant traction, and the impact we were making in the community was evident. The park we had been working on was now open, and it was heartening to see families and individuals enjoying the space. It felt like a concrete representation of the positive changes we were striving for. One day, as I walked through the park, taking in the vibrant colors and the cheerful ambiance, I ran into an old acquaintance, Tom, from a previous work project. We exchanged greetings and caught up on each other's lives. Tom was now involved in a startup focused on eco-friendly technologies, and his enthusiasm for sustainable innovation was contagious. Tom and I discussed potential collaborations between our projects, considering how we might integrate eco-friendly technologies into our Green Spaces initiative. The conversation was stimulating, and we agreed to explore the possibilities further. Working with Tom offered a new perspective on how technology could enhance our environmental efforts, and I was eager to see where this partnership might lead. The following weeks were filled with meetings and brainstorming sessions with Tom. We explored various ways to incorporate sustainable technology into our projects, such as smart irrigation systems and solar-powered amenities. The collaboration was both challenging and exciting, and it added a new dimension to our work. Amidst these professional developments, I continued to maintain my personal connections. Emily's conference presentation on sustainable development had been a success, and she was receiving recognition for her innovative ideas. Her achievements were a source of inspiration for me, and our conversations remained a vital part of my support system. One evening, Emily and I met for dinner to celebrate her recent accomplishments. We shared stories about our projects and discussed future plans. Emily mentioned her interest in exploring opportunities for international collaborations, and I found myself considering the possibilities of extending our initiatives beyond local boundaries. During our conversation, Emily expressed her admiration for the progress I had made and the impact of my work. Her support and encouragement were deeply appreciated, and I was grateful for the positive influence she had on my life. As the year continued, our collaboration with Tom and his startup began to yield tangible results. We implemented several eco-friendly technologies in our Green Spaces project, and the community responded positively to the innovations. It was rewarding to see the practical benefits of our efforts and to know that we were contributing to a more sustainable future. In addition to the professional successes, I found joy in the small, everyday moments. The routine of working on meaningful projects, spending time with friends, and reflecting on personal growth provided a sense of balance and fulfillment. I continued to embrace the changes in my life with optimism and gratitude. One Saturday, I attended a community event in the park to celebrate its official opening. The event was a culmination of our hard work, and it was gratifying to see people enjoying the space. The atmosphere was filled with joy and excitement, and I took pride in the role I had played in creating something so valuable for the community. As I looked around the park, I was reminded of the journey I had undertaken. The challenges and changes of the past had led me to this point of accomplishment and satisfaction. The progress I had made, both personally and professionally, was a testament to the resilience and growth I had experienced. The year was shaping up to be one of continued transformation and opportunity. The collaborations, projects, and personal connections were creating a rich tapestry of experiences that were both fulfilling and inspiring. I felt a deep sense of purpose and anticipation for what the future held. As I moved forward, I carried with me the lessons and insights gained from the past. The journey had been marked by growth, resilience, and discovery, and I was ready to embrace the next chapter with confidence and hope. The future was filled with possibilities, and I was eager to explore them, knowing that I had the strength and support to navigate whatever came next. Summer arrived with its familiar warmth, bringing new energy to the projects and activities that had been shaping my year. The Green Spaces initiative and the wellness workshops were thriving, and the collaborative efforts with Tom's eco-friendly technologies were showing promising results. The park we had developed was now a central part of the community, and its success was a testament to the power of collective effort. One sunny afternoon, while walking through the park, I received a call from Laura. Her mental health support network had received a significant grant to expand their services, and she wanted to discuss how we might integrate some of the green space features into their initiatives. Laura's call was a pleasant surprise, and it was exciting to think about how our efforts could intersect in a meaningful way. We met a few days later to brainstorm ideas. The conversation quickly turned to ways we could create safe, calming spaces within the park that would support mental health and well-being. We discussed incorporating sensory gardens, meditation areas, and community art installations. The possibilities were inspiring, and we began planning a collaborative project that would combine the strengths of both our initiatives. As the summer continued, the work on this new project gained momentum. We organized a series of community workshops to gather input and ideas from local residents. The response was enthusiastic, and the feedback helped us refine our plans to better meet the needs of the community. It was gratifying to see how people were engaging with the project and contributing their ideas. One evening, I received an unexpected invitation to a local awards ceremony. The event was honoring individuals and organizations that had made significant contributions to the community. I was surprised and honored to learn that the Green Spaces Project, along with our collaborative efforts with Laura and Tom, had been nominated for a Community Service Award. Attending the ceremony was a humbling experience. Seeing the diverse range of contributions and the impact they had on the community was both inspiring and reassuring. When our project was announced as the winner of the Community Service Award, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment. It was a recognition of the hard work and dedication of everyone involved, and it reinforced the importance of our efforts. In the midst of these achievements, I continued to find balance and joy in my personal life. The friendships and connections I had cultivated were a source of strength and support. Emily, who had been working on her international collaborations, shared her experiences and insights with me. Her enthusiasm for her work was infectious, and our conversations remained a vital part of my support system. One weekend, Emily invited me to a retreat focused on personal growth and reflection. The retreat offered a chance to disconnect from daily routines and immerse ourselves in activities designed to foster self-awareness and renewal. The experience was both refreshing and enlightening, providing valuable insights and a renewed sense of purpose. As summer began to transition into fall, I reflected on the progress of the past months. The projects, personal connections, and achievements had created a sense of fulfillment and direction. I was grateful for the opportunities that had come my way and the positive impact we were making in the community. The collaborative project with Laura, Tom, and the community had evolved into a symbol of what could be achieved through shared vision and effort. The park, with its new features and integrated mental health support, was becoming a beacon of hope and well-being for many. Looking ahead, I felt a sense of excitement for the future. The journey I had undertaken had been marked by growth, resilience, and discovery. I was ready to embrace the next chapter with optimism and confidence, knowing that the experiences and connections I had made would continue to guide and inspire me. The summer had been a season of achievement and reflection, and as I prepared for the changes that fall would bring, I carried with me a deep sense of gratitude and anticipation. The path ahead was filled with possibilities, and I was eager to explore them, fully embracing the journey and the potential it held. As autumn unfolded, the collaboration with Laura and Tom had seamlessly integrated into our community initiatives. The new features in the park were receiving rave reviews, and the sensory gardens and meditation areas were proving to be popular among visitors. It was gratifying to witness the positive impact these spaces were having on people's well-being. One crisp October afternoon, Laura and I hosted a community event in the park to celebrate the completion of our latest project phase. The event was a vibrant gathering with activities for all ages, including art workshops, guided meditation sessions, and environmental education booths. The turnout was impressive, and the enthusiasm of the participants was palpable. During the event, I took a moment to reflect on how far we had come. The sense of community and shared purpose was evident in every interaction, and it was clear that our efforts were making a meaningful difference. I felt a deep sense of pride in the work we had accomplished and the positive change we had brought about. As the days grew shorter and the weather grew cooler, I found myself spending more time indoors, focusing on planning and strategic development. The success of our recent projects had opened up new opportunities for growth and expansion. I began exploring ways to leverage the momentum and continue building on our achievements. One evening, as I reviewed project reports and assessed our progress, I received an email from Sarah. She had been working on expanding her wellness business and had some exciting news to share. Sarah's initiative had been selected for a National Wellness Award, and she wanted to discuss how we might collaborate on a new project that would combine our efforts in a meaningful way. We scheduled a call to discuss the details, Sarah proposed a joint venture that would integrate our community-based wellness initiatives with her business's focus on personalized well-being. The idea was to create a comprehensive wellness program that offered both community support and individualized guidance. The concept was compelling, and I was enthusiastic about the potential impact. Our conversation was productive, and we began outlining the framework for the new project. We planned to launch a pilot program that would offer workshops, coaching sessions, and online resources. The goal was to provide a holistic approach to wellness that addressed both mental and physical health needs. In the midst of these developments, I continued to nurture my personal relationships. Emily, who had been traveling for her international collaborations, returned to town and shared her experiences with me. Her insights into global sustainable practices were both enlightening and motivating. We discussed the possibility of incorporating some of her ideas into our local projects. One weekend, Emily and I attended a conference on global sustainability. The event featured speakers from various sectors, and the discussions were both informative and inspiring. I left the conference with a renewed sense of purpose and a wealth of new ideas to explore. As autumn transitioned into winter, the pace of work remained steady. The new wellness program with Sarah was taking shape, and we were preparing for its official launch. The anticipation was building, and I was excited about the opportunities it would bring. Reflecting on the past year, I was struck by the progress I had made. The challenges I had faced had led to personal and professional growth, and I had found a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. The collaborations, achievements, and connections I had developed were shaping a bright future. The year was coming to a close, and I looked forward to the next chapter with optimism and confidence. The experiences and lessons of the past had prepared me for the opportunities ahead. I was ready to embrace the future, knowing that the journey had equipped me with the strength and resilience to navigate whatever came next. As winter settled in, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the path I had traveled. The projects, relationships, and personal growth had created a rich tapestry of experiences. I was eager to build on these foundations and continue making a positive impact in the years to come. Winter's chill had settled into a comfortable routine, and as the year drew to a close, the momentum from the past months continued to drive our efforts forward. The wellness program with Sarah was about to launch, and the final preparations were in full swing. We had conducted several successful pilot workshops, and the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. The comprehensive wellness approach was gaining traction, and I was excited to see how it would unfold. One snowy afternoon, as I finalized the details for the program's launch, I received an unexpected call from a local media outlet. They were interested in featuring our Green Spaces initiative and the new wellness program in an upcoming special on community impact. The opportunity to reach a wider audience and share our success stories was thrilling, and I eagerly agreed to participate. The interview was scheduled for the following week. Preparing for it was both exciting and nerve-wracking. I spent time gathering key information, refining my talking points, and rehearsing potential questions. The goal was to effectively communicate the vision and impact of our projects while showcasing the positive changes we had made in the community. The day of the interview arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves and excitement. The crew arrived at the park to film segments of the Green Spaces project and the wellness facilities. The cameras captured the vibrant energy of the park and the engaging activities taking place. I spoke about our initiatives, the collaborations that made them possible, and the positive feedback we had received from the community. The interview went well, and the footage showcased the tangible benefits of our work. It was gratifying to see our efforts recognized and to know that the broader community would have the opportunity to learn about the positive impact we were making. The segment aired a few weeks later, and the response was overwhelmingly supportive. Many local residents reached out to express their appreciation and interest in getting involved. As the new year approached, I took time to reflect on the past year's achievements and set intentions for the future. The progress made on the Green Spaces project, the success of the wellness program, and the recognition we had received were all highlights. The journey had been marked by growth, collaboration, and a deep sense of fulfillment. One evening, while reviewing my goals for the upcoming year, I received a call from Tom. He had been working on an innovative idea to integrate more advanced eco-technologies into our green spaces and wanted to discuss it. Tom's enthusiasm was contagious, and we scheduled a meeting to explore his ideas further. Our discussion was both stimulating and inspiring. Tom proposed incorporating smart sensors and data analytics to optimize park maintenance and enhance visitor experiences. The idea was to use technology to make our green spaces even more sustainable and user-friendly. I was excited about the potential and agreed to support the initiative. The coming year promised to be filled with new challenges and opportunities. The plans for expanding the wellness program, integrating advanced technologies, and continuing our community impact work were all on the horizon. I felt a renewed sense of purpose and anticipation for the future. As winter's quiet embrace enveloped the city, I embraced the season as a time of reflection and renewal. The accomplishments of the past year had set a strong foundation for the future, and I was ready to build upon them. The journey had been one of discovery and growth, and I was eager to continue making a positive difference. The new year brought with it a sense of excitement and possibility. I looked forward to the opportunities ahead, knowing that the experiences and relationships I had cultivated would guide and support me. The path was clear, and I was prepared to face whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead with optimism and determination. As the new year unfolded, the excitement for our upcoming projects was palpable. The success of the wellness program and the media attention had set a positive tone for the months ahead. The collaboration with Tom on integrating advanced eco-technologies into our green spaces was gaining momentum, and the possibilities seemed endless. One frosty morning, I met with Tom to discuss the implementation of the smart sensors and data analytics for the park. We reviewed the project plan, which included installing sensors to monitor soil conditions, track water usage, and gather data on visitor interactions. The goal was to optimize park maintenance and enhance the overall visitor experience. Tom's innovative ideas were inspiring, and I was eager to see how they would transform our green spaces. The project kicked off with the installation of the sensors and the development of a central data system. Over the following weeks, Tom and his team worked diligently to integrate the technology. The park continued to thrive as the new features were introduced, and the community remained engaged and supportive of the changes. Meanwhile, the wellness program with Sarah was in full swing. We had launched the pilot program, and the response from participants was enthusiastic. The workshops, coaching sessions, and online resources were providing valuable support, and the program's impact was evident in the feedback we received. Sarah and I continued to refine and expand the program based on participants' needs and suggestions. One day, while attending a workshop at the park, I was approached by a local school principal, Linda. She expressed interest in incorporating some of our wellness and environmental initiatives into the school curriculum. Linda's enthusiasm for fostering a healthier and more sustainable environment for students was inspiring. We discussed potential collaborations, such as field trips to the park, classroom workshops on environmental stewardship, and student-led projects. The partnership with Linda's school quickly took shape. We organized a series of educational events and activities that integrated our green spaces and wellness initiatives into the school's programming. The students responded with great enthusiasm, and it was gratifying to see the next generation engaging with the concepts of sustainability and well-being. As winter progressed, I continued to balance the various projects and collaborations. The integration of technology into our green spaces was proving successful, and the data collected from the sensors was providing valuable insights. We used the information to make data-driven decisions about park maintenance and to enhance visitor experiences. One evening, I received an invitation to speak at a regional conference on community development. The opportunity to share our experiences and insights with a broader audience was exciting. I prepared a presentation that highlighted the successes of our projects, the challenges we had faced, and the innovative approaches we had taken. The conference was a rewarding experience. Networking with other professionals and learning about their work provided fresh perspectives and inspiration. I was able to share the story of our green spaces and wellness initiatives, and the feedback from attendees was overwhelmingly positive. The experience reinforced the value of our work and provided new ideas for future projects. Back at the park, the collaboration with Linda's school was in full swing. The students' engagement in environmental and wellness activities was fostering a sense of community and responsibility. It was inspiring to see the impact of our initiatives on the younger generation, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose in our work. As winter drew to a close, I took time to reflect on the progress made over the past year. The integration of technology, the expansion of the wellness program, and the successful school partnerships were significant achievements. I was proud of the positive changes we had brought about and was excited for the future. Looking ahead, the plans for the upcoming year included continuing to build on our existing projects, exploring new collaborations, and enhancing our community impact. The experiences and lessons learned from the past year had equipped me with the tools and confidence to embrace new challenges and opportunities. The new year promised to be filled with growth and innovation. I was ready to face the future with optimism and determination, knowing that the journey had prepared me well. As spring approached, I looked forward to the next chapter with anticipation, eager to continue making a difference and to build on the successes of the past year. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any new videos.